Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be tackling a massive truth that we all need to wake up to. And that is, this current political nightmare has an expiration date. Yes, this child's play Chucky regime, the corruption, the division, it will all end at some point. And here's the real deal. So do we. If we spend our remaining days waiting for the news to get better before we start living with joy, intention, and connection, we're letting them win a part of us they don't deserve. We're giving away the one thing we can actually control, and that is how we spend our time. So today, we're talking about how to stop feeding the anger fire, reclaim our time, and find actual joy in the fractured world we live in. So let's dive in. I'm Island Punk. Welcome to GenX-Xpat. And to everyone who has hit that subscribe button, thank you. Seriously, it means the world to me, and it gives me hope. And honestly, it keeps me creating. This video is for me as much as it is for you. I need to hear this today. As Gen Xers, we know how to get things done. We're survivors. We grew up in an unpredictable, chaotic environment, which meant we had to develop a finely tuned radar. We learned to gauge the underground currents just to know if we were safe. And right now, the radar is screaming. It's sketchy. It feels like the whole country is standing on the edge of a cliff, and one bad gust of wind could send it over the edge. Our institutions are being gutted. The economy is being dismantled. We are watching a nightmare authoritarian leader and a handful of billionaires rob the country blind, leaving a debt that our children and grandchildren will be paying for the rest of their lives. And it's demoralizing and it's exhausting. But we need a massive reality check here. We did not make this happen. MAGA and the non-voters made this happen. So why are we letting it consume our day-to-day lives? Think about the actual power we have. We can vote, we can speak out, and we can assemble. That's it. That is the extent of our control. Please let me know if I've left something out here in the comments. So how much time does that actually take up in your week? In mine, about 5 hours if I'm really active. So what are we doing with the other 163 hours of our week? And if we're spending them doom scrolling, screaming at the TV or the phone, and having rage-filled rants about a criminal in the White House, we're pouring fuel on a fire that is consuming us. Anger behaves exactly like a fire. If you stop feeding it fuel, it dies down. We can choose to meet this hostile economic environment on our own terms. We can spend less. We can practice self-sufficiency. For me, as an expat living here, that means changing how I interact with the world. I don't buy into the massive corporate chains. I have no subscriptions. My channel and Substacks are free, and they don't require any fees and will not ever require fees. I ride my scooter out to the local produce stands in the villages. I visit secondhand shops in the community, even when I'm not needing anything, just to go out and meet people and see what's going on. So, we're on the last section of our lives. Our time is finite. Do we want to spend it consumed by fury because our fellow citizens got duped and we're all suffering the consequences? That requires a massive amount of energy. Energy that could be used for making art, taking walks, reading books, or in my case, helping a disoriented, newly arrived vacationer find the local shop for coffee and toothpaste. Okay, maybe that last one is just me, but you get it, right? You get the point. This isn't just wishful thinking. If you look at the core human philosophy, specifically where Hinduism, Buddhism, and existentialism converge, they all point to the exact same cycle: suffering, acceptance, change, joy, repeat. These ancient traditions give us a literal blueprint for keeping our sanity right now based on 5 simple principles. The first principle is conscious presence, staying locked into the current moment. Instead of getting lost in past regrets or terrifying dystopian futures where Soylent Green is on the menu at least once a week, which I recommend that movie, Soylent Green, Charlton Heston, 1973. But back to the topic. The next principle is acceptance of the suffering, recognizing that suffering is an inevitable part of the human experience. We don't need to fight it. We use it to build wisdom and resilience. Don't pretend it isn't happening, but don't make it worse. What's that song, the Cars song that lyrics go, it's so easy to blow up your problem. It's so easy to play up the breakdown. It's so easy to fly through a window. My interpretation of that song is that it highlights the ease of escaping, wallowing in our situation, or amplifying our problems instead of accepting and moving through them. Yeah, the Cars, 1978. I love listening to that album. Back on the topic. Principle number 3 is transience and change. Embracing the fact that everything is impermanent. This regime will eventually die. This era will end. And same for the era of our work life. One of the biggest changes is going from working to retirement. This time of transition has pitfalls we want to avoid, like filling our time with negative activities or losing our intentional daily structure. The activities will change, but we can keep the structure that supports staying active and motivated. Principle number 4 is joy. It sounds easy, but it isn't. We understand that true happiness doesn't come from our government. It comes from aligning with our true nature, living ethically, and appreciating reality as it is, even if reality is a shit show that it is right now. We can find joyful moments in everyday activities, playing with our pets, and sports, our favorite exercise, listening to music, cooking, or sharing a meal with someone. And finally, principle number 5, the integration of opposites. Life is always going to be a mix of joy and suffering happening at the exact same time. Full engagement with life means embracing both. We didn't envision life to have this kind of chaos, but we need to allow the joy of our life into the mix as well. Otherwise, we're throwing away our lives to this nightmare. The government is meant to manage democracy, justice, and the laws of the Constitution. It was never meant to manage our spirit. If we want our joy back, we have to go out and cultivate it ourselves. Connect with our neighbors, listen to the music, and watch the movies that bring happiness to our hearts. Well, okay, Soylent Green is a bit dystopian, but I recommend it anyway. If this stream of consciousness resonates with your journey, I dive much deeper into these concepts of self-awareness and emotional sovereignty in my journaling book, Mental Wealth Journey, which you can grab right now on Amazon. And to support this channel and keep these deep dives going, hit that subscribe button right here on YouTube so I will know that I should keep this up. Click the link below to buy me a coffee and fuel the scooter, or not. Join me daily on Substack, where Island Punk journals daily and goes into emotional awareness. Until next time, lead, follow, or get out of the way.